Beneath Australia's tropical waters lurks a creature known to be the most venomous on Earth. Its sting causes agonising pain, sometimes death.
I had incredible cramps, shifting all around my back, my stomach. I couldn't get comfortable. I was in intense pain.
I did stop breathing several times. It was just easier not to try and breathe.
A lot of tremendous pain, agonising pain.
I certainly felt as though I didn't want to live.
Ben Cropp searches a mangrove creek in August. He's looking for an important early stage in the life cycle of this deadly creature.
Aha, this looks like a good rock. It's very possible that there's polyps adhering to this, but no way can I see it with the naked eye, so I'll have to take it back to the lab for Jamie to look at under the microscope.
Dr. Jamie Seymour of James Cook University is intensively studying the little-known behaviour and life cycle of the creature. Jamie sees the sedentary polyp stage affixed to the rock. It reproduces itself asexually by budding off additional creeping polyps. A single stinging cell kills planktonic prey. After months of feeding and budding, the polyp begins its metamorphosis, the complete transformation of its body into a swimming stage. It's now a jellyfish medusa, struggling to break loose from the bottom and swim away. It slowly changes shape to a minute box jellyfish, the birth of Chironex fleckeri, the world's deadliest creature.
We seem to surmise so much, to fill in all these gaps that we don't know about the behaviour, even where they go to spawn. I mean, I've always surmised that they come into the mouths of the rivers, but maybe not.
Whether or not they swim up the creeks and spawn, whether they actually spawn out at sea, who knows?
We do know that the juvenile box jellyfish feed and grow and proliferate in the mangrove nursery, awaiting their time to leave, ultimately destined to become a threat to man.
There certainly are lots and lots of box jellyfish here. They're all moving out of the estuary, past my wharf here, around the point, and by tomorrow they'll be all around on 4 Mile Beach. This is the last week of November, so they're spot on time because this is a normal time that they leave the estuary and head around to the beach, and that's where they'll find enough food and they'll grow big and fat and dangerous.
Invisible killers invade our beautiful northern beaches.
Nice size. If there's one, there's always a second or third one. There you are. Juvenile quadrigatus. Now, only yesterday we saw all those box jellyfish coming out of the estuary. Well, they're here now. They only took one day to swim out here about 5 nautical miles. And there's hundreds and hundreds of them, literally. It's amazing just how many. Every few metres, there's another box jellyfish swimming along, feeding. But fortunately for the swimmers here in Port Douglas, this quadrigatus is not deadly like the fleckeri. I mean, it won't kill you, it won't even put you in hospital. It'll sting and hurt, and it'll only grow about twice this size, which isn't too bad.
Ben's dog Tuffy is too hairy to be stung. Sometimes the shadow is clearer than the creature, which most people cannot see.
Wow, here's a lot. Oh, there's a whole group.
Oh,
Oh! Oh! Look at that. Lucky my hand's a little bit tough and it doesn't hurt so much. But what I've got to be very careful of, you know, when I've got these tentacles on my fingers, that I don't go and touch my face, touch my nose or ears or mouth, because then I'll really scream, they'll really hurt. But my hands are pretty sort of used to getting stung like that. Now this guy, quadrigatus, it certainly could give you a lot of pain, especially a child or a woman, because most women wading along here would have shaved their legs, and that bare skin, it's very easy for those tentacles to adhere to the skin and pump all those nematocysts with the poison into the skin. Tuffy, look at that, oh, right in front of your nose. Look at it, Tuff. Now Tuffy's a pretty hairy sort of dog, but his nose is vulnerable to this. And if that thing had touched you on the nose, you would have yelped. Right, one last thing to do is to get this vinegar, pour it all over my hand and my fingers where I got stung, and that'll just stop any unfired nematocysts on any tentacles that may be there, you know, stinging me again. Very, very good idea to leave this vinegar on the beach here, so that just in case you do get stung.
Most popular beaches have a stinger net. The large box jellyfish can't get through. Outside the stinger net, you must wear a protective lycra suit, for this big adult Chironex fleckeri will kill.
Now that is big enough to kill a human. Very, very easy. That's almost full adult size. Very, very dangerous. Okay.
Box jellyfish kill more people in the tropical north than crocodiles and sharks combined. Gambling with their lives, some people still chance a swim. On contact, each tentacle fires millions of poisonous darts, called nematocysts, into the skin. The shock and pain is intense.
Why are you dragging here, Max, while you've got the stinger net just behind to protect the bathers?
Well, doing these drags is determining what animals are about, what jellyfish are about, and what variety and in what numbers. That determines the amount of risk that we have to bathers with the various jellyfish about. A lot of people are very, very interested about the jellyfish, and we actually go out of our way to try and give the people the right information about these jellyfish, so they too can enjoy the safety of swimming along the coast of North Queensland.
I can't see any box jellyfish.
Doesn't look like anything here today.
Everyone, the beach is clear.
Of course, we carry our primary first aid equipment for the jellyfish sting, which is vinegar. We carry at least 4 litres in the hut, and there is other litres of vinegar at strategic places along the coastline. We carry compressive bandaging to limit the transfer of toxins through the body after a sting, and of course first aid equipment and oxygen equipment to further treat a serious case.
And do you still administer anti-venom?
We no longer administer anti-venom. The ambulance carries the anti-venom, and they're usually out to the beaches very, very quickly, and hopefully within 8 minutes we can have the patient full of antivenin.
The stinger net seems to be a real godsend for bathers in far north Queensland.
Certainly they are. Since they were first installed in the mid-80s, they've proven a boon for visitors and locals alike to enjoy the coastal fringes during the summer months.
Yeah. And no chance of a box jellyfish getting in there?
Well, these nets are designed and improved each year as we learn more about the jellyfish.
Those victims who survive bear terrible whip-like scars from the millions of stinging barbs. They fade like memories, painfully slowly.
Whereabouts were you hit, Jodie?
Believe it or not, actually in this area.
Right here?
Yeah, right here. I was chasing my dog, and yeah, so right here was where it happened. I walked into him.
You must have heard a terrible lot.
Yeah, a lot of tremendous pain. Yeah, agonising pain. Thought it was sea lice at first.
Yeah.
But then my boyfriend grabbed me and lifted me up, and out of the water all the tentacles came, and Yeah, it was a pretty big
Did they
one.
rush to the hospital?
Within minutes, the ambulance was here, and
And what about anti-venom?
they gave me the anti-venom in my thighs.
Any scarring?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Not too much. So I'm very lucky compared to what I got hit with.
Well, Jodie, I guess the big question is, do you still go back in the water?
No. I come down the beach a lot, but no swimming at all.
Locals turn to freshwater pools in the hot summer months. Back on the beach, the danger prevails.
How's it going, Jamie?
Morning, Ben. Good. Got about 30, 40 animals so far this morning from the boat.
Good. Yeah.
Good morning for it. Nice and smooth, no wind.
This one.
Squished.
A cute little shovel-nosed shark. Back you go. That ray just whacked me right in there but didn't penetrate. I couldn't believe that it could get that barb on the tail right back, almost to the head. Close. Lots of them here, isn't there? Yeah.
What's that funny little bit in the middle there?
And you can see his eyes just on the...
Oh, right, there's his eyes.
Yeah, little black spots. There's one spot.
Yeah,
on either
just
side.
here.
They've got balance organs in them as well, so they actually know which way they're...
And they're light
Yeah.
sensitive.
That's quite a good haul.
Done well.
Yeah, very well.
Dr. Seymour monitors 4 Mile Beach every week, counting the population, measuring their growth rate, and logging the prevailing conditions.
Gives us feet per minute
Alright.
as a wind speed reading, which we then convert back to metric into kilometres an hour. 870 feet per minute.
What's the turbidity test for?
And basically all we're doing is dropping a standard sized white fish into the water. And the deeper the secchi depth, the clearer the water. So it's like when you go to the reef and they say there's 25 metre visibility.
Yeah.
We're doing exactly the same thing here, but using a standard disc so that we can come back. If the secchi depth's 1 metre, then it's reasonably turbid water and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
The secchi depth is 6 or 7 metres, which it is normally here. That's really nice, clear, clean water.
And what's this got to do with the box jellies? To see where they hang out in murky water? Or?
Yeah, basically the whole thing's about trying to correlate when the animals turn up. So
Yeah.
if we can work out what physical parameters the animals like, then
Yeah.
we should be able to predict when they turn up and when they go away.
James Cook University is at the forefront of box jellyfish research. The summer danger lessens the quality of our outdoor lifestyle.
These look pretty healthy.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
Helps a lot when you catch them in a bucket and not in a net.
What I noticed, Jamie, in my aquarium, they only live about 3 days in the aquarium. They start to shrivel up after a day or so. They get smaller and smaller, then eventually they're dead.
They just run out of food, I think, Ben. I mean, we can feed them 2 or 3 times a day here and fill them up with food, and it's gone within a couple of hours. I mean, I think given the animals only live a couple of months, as adults, you've got to stuff food in them. I think that's all they do, is just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Basically what we've got here, Ben, is it's a constant temperature cabinet, and it keeps the water at a certain temperature. What we're trying to do is work out what the breathing rate of the jellyfish is. Now, one of the theories is at the end of the season, it gets too cold and the animals die. So what we're doing here is we've got the jellyfish at constant temperature in water, and we've got basically measuring the amount of oxygen that they use. So in other words, their breathing rate. Put another way, what their heart rate's doing. Now, as you drop the water temperature, their heart rate slows down. So as it gets colder and colder, they slow down until eventually you reach a point where it just gets too cold and their heart stops. Now, what we're doing so far is doing this at different temperatures and find out what the relationship is. And the data that we've got, or that Matthew's got so far, suggests that the temperature that these animals stop working at is about 25 degrees C, which is about the temperature at the end of the season, the seawater temperature at the end of the season in sort of May, June. So once you get, half a dozen days or a week worth of really cold water, the animals die, and that probably signals the end of the season. We're not too sure, but that's probably what's happening.
In the course of his documentary film work, Ben Cropp has also carried out 16 years of research on the box jellyfish and made several important discoveries of their behaviour by monitoring the creatures underwater. His son, Adam, accompanies him.
I love the eerie waters of the mangrove. It swarms with life. The mangrove's link with the box jellyfish is vital. They grow up here and their food comes from here. I see one barely escape the closing jaws of a giant clam and then impale itself on the quivering barb of a sea urchin. Not a happy start to its day. One swims inside the other, and I don't know why. Their tentacles tangle and become a tug-of-war. Their main diet are little shrimp and schooling baitfish. 4 eyes, one on each side of its bell, gives excellent vision. Wrapped up in tentacles, it's now drawn into the stomach. This prey is too large and escapes, but I see it's mortally wounded. When food is plentiful, I've seen box jellyfish double their size in 3 days. At a steady swimming speed of over 2 knots, I follow a big one along the foreshore and watch how it stalks its prey.
Adam, about 15 years ago, that's when I discovered the predators of the box jellyfish. And that was a very important discovery because the predation is what keeps the population under control. And I was quite amazed at the fish that I found that ate the box jellyfish. The butterfish. Now that's such an insignificant, little fish. People, when they catch it, they throw it back or they feed it to the cat. Not very important, but it eats box jellyfish. Also the batfish. Again, a fish that tends to get thrown away, not eaten. The most aggressive that I found eating the box jelly was the spinefoot. Now remember, when you look in here among the roots, there's always these spinefoot swimming around among the roots. Very, very common, very aggressive type of fish, and it just loves box jellyfish. But the real predator, the best of all, was the Hawksbill Turtle. And the Hawksbill Turtles, they just love box jellyfish. They really do. They just come up to a big one and just tear it apart as if it's their normal diet, which it probably is because hawksbills, they do live close inshore and they'd see these box jelly, and all turtles eat jellyfish, but the hawksbill in particular goes for the box jelly because it's in the area he lives. It's a pity also that these fish, they're not protected. If they're caught in the nets or caught on a line, they're regarded as trash and they're thrown back or taken home for the cat. The hawksbill is protected, but lots of them are caught in nets, barramundi nets, shark nets, and so they're a bit on decline. And this decline of those particular species may be the reason why there's been what appears to be a rapid increase in the box jellyfish population in these last years. So I'm going to still search. I still want to find out more predators, because if we can find those out, protect those animals, then hopefully we can keep the population of the box jellyfish under control.
Before the war, say the late 30s, we used to do a lot of swimming all the time. People come from near and far, kids on the beach, and we used to get a lot of turtles those days, and cleaning them, particularly the stomach part, the intestines, we always found quite a lot of jellyfish. And in the process of cleaning, quite often we got stung on the hands. Some were severe stings, some were nothing, but we didn't know anything about the different sorts of jellyfish, so we didn't ever take any notice of it. There could have been Irukandji then, but I do know that there's a lot of jellyfish around now and very, very few turtles. I personally feel that the turtles did have a lot to do with keeping the population of jellyfish down.
Marshall has a strong point. Aborigines say that turtles suffer from stomach fungus and worms, and when ill, they eat jellyfish as a medicine. Ben sees a rare flat-backed turtle eating a huge hair jelly, but the turtle's in trouble. It's swallowed too many tentacles and is groggy and can't dive. In Ben Cropp's quest to discover more predators of the box jellyfish, he swims under his wharf and follows a blue swimmer crab, an agile, aggressive feeder.
I found a new predator, this blue swimmer crab. Now, he's very common here in the estuaries and out along the beaches, and this guy just loves box jellyfish. Well, I think I'll let you go. You can go back and eat some more.
It's another important discovery, for predation does hold the key to population control, but we, unwittingly, regularly catch all the predators of the box jellyfish.
See you later.
The mangrove trees that breathe in the drowning tides harbour a rich community of marine life, for the mangrove's single most important role is as a nursery. It's an essential food and shelter in the juvenile stage of the life cycle of almost every coastal sea creature. Mudcrab is probably another predator, and a gourmet delight. Most other jellyfish grow up in the mangroves. This one flips upside down because its food is above. The mosaic jelly migrates ocean-wide, and commensal fish find sanctuary inside the bell. The Portuguese man-of-war was unfairly blamed for early fatalities before the box jellyfish was recognised. This is the hair jelly that paralysed the turtle. Tomoya fire jelly has 4 heavy whip-like tentacles and a powerful sting. Spotted papules on its bell are clustered. The creature is armed, all over. There has been very little research into first aid remedies for box jellyfish stings. Vinegar is the only one recommended, but there must be others. Ben intends to find out the painful way.
Not a bad size, that one. Yeah, that one could put a child in hospital. I don't think me. Okay, Adam. Yeah! I'll see if I can get the tentacle stuck. Okay, put it back in the water. Keep it alive. Oh! Oh, boy. Wow. All the red wheels coming up there. Ah! Okay, that's enough vinegar, please. Yeah. Don't be long.
Vinegar.
Oh boy, look at, see those red, oh, okay, that's enough, that's enough. Right, a little bit of tentacle left there. See, just in there. Now that vinegar is supposed to inhibit the nematocysts that haven't been fired yet. And so really, if I press this again, these tentacles, no, I'm not getting any further sting. Oh, just talk about stinging up here. Yeah, but there's no more sting, so that vinegar has inhibited and literally stopped those other nematocysts from firing, literally made them dead. So, but it doesn't stop the pain. I mean, stopping a secondary skin, but not the pain, not at all. Okay, next one then.
There he is.
Don't be too tense. I know you got to do it. Okay, we'll just see if I can get some tentacles there. Okay, pull it off. Oh, jeez. Just even those tentacles really hurt. Oh. Okay, stingos. Yeah, now this thing is an aluminium sulfate concentrate, and it was developed for box jellyfish.
Is that enough?
No, a little bit more. Okay. Well, the pain's going a little. It has gone a little. It's still hurting. Okay, I've got to press the tentacles here and see whether I can make them fire again. No, I can feel all the pain up here, but not down there. No more secondary stinging. So the stingers, is working much the same as the vinegar. Costs a bit more, that's about all, but oh boy. Oh, I'm going to have a sore arm after this. Both arms sore. What they're doing, Adam, is that they're not stopping the pain. They're not stopping the pain. There's supposed to be a first aid treatment, a remedy, and they're not a very good remedy. I mean, really, we've got to find something better than this because it's not stopping the pain. It only maybe is stopping more pain on any further secondary sting. Well, okay, I've got one more to do. Now this is the crinium lily, and the Aborigines actually use this for a first aid on box jellyfish. In fact, a few years ago I saw it actually in action. A little Aboriginal kid got hit by a box jellyfish, and the parent ran out, grabbed the kid, dragged him ashore, and then he raced up into the bush. And he found one of these crinium lilies, came back and with it, and then he started to actually crunch it all up and to get the juice out of it. And then he applied that juice right over the sting on the little Aboriginal kid. Now, I don't know how much it worked because that poor little guy really was screaming a lot. But they believe that this works just like our vinegar works on box jellyfish stings. So, I'm going to try it. I don't know where to put this guy, Adam. I'm hurting on this arm, I'm hurting on this, only leaves the legs. It's okay, I guess the inner thigh, that's very sensitive. Just whack it on there. I'm sorry that I said that. It hurts. That's a very sensitive area. Okay, take it away. Okay, try this stuff. Oh, look, there's not even any juice coming out. I remember the Aborigines rubbed it, but I don't like that because all it's doing is making any nematocysts fire again.
Is it working?
Vinegar. Come on. Bit more. Oh, look at the redness there.
That's better?
Forget about this one. I'll stay with vinegar. I'm going to lie down. This is the same place where only a few weeks ago we got hundreds and hundreds of box jellyfish in the net. Today, nothing. Absolutely nil in box jellyfish. And you start to question why. Now, there's not much food here, so did they go elsewhere where there's more food? Or did they simply die off through lack of food? Because we do know that the box jellyfish requires a lot of food every day. Now, in a couple of weeks' time, the rains are going to come, and I'm sure that there'll be a whole lot of box jellyfish back here again. Maybe a new wave coming out of the river, or perhaps the guys who were here before coming back. But the trouble is, we surmise too much about the box jellyfish. We don't really know a lot about their behaviour. Too many gaps, and we surmise to fill in those gaps. We've still got a lot to learn.
Along the tropical coast and out to sea lurks another deadly box jellyfish, 1,000 times smaller than the big coronex, yet it packs a punch so powerful the victims end up in intensive care and believe they will die. It's called an Irukandji.
I was hit on the chest by 4.
4 of them?
Yes, excruciating pain. I did stop breathing several times. It was just easier not to try and breathe because it felt like I was paralysed.
And were you in intensive care?
Yes, intravenous Valium in hospital.
Wow. And they're only tiny,
Tiny, you can't see them.
2 centimetres, not even that, 1 centimetre across. Amazing.
Amazing, something so small can inflict so much pain.
Well, I can't remember ever being in that much pain then. We arrived at our first site, which is about 30 nautical miles northeast of here, on the outer reef. I was in there for about 10 minutes snorkeling around, and I felt just a little irritation underneath the mask, just on my cheek. and not really that painful, just a bit prickly sort of feeling. Not as bad as, let's say, a blue bottle sting. And then I got back on board, and I asked one of the crew members, Lee, I said, "Can you see something there?" She said, "Oh, look, it's slightly raised little bump, you big wuss," she said. I said, "Fair enough," so that was okay. And then I noticed pain in my lower back, either side. I don't normally get back pain. It shifted. I had incredible cramps, shifting all around my back, my stomach. I couldn't get comfortable. I was in intense pain, and also I had nausea on top of that. I had the feeling I had to throw up, but there was nothing to throw up.
I saw you when they brought you back in here in the marina, and you were a mess. Your face was all swollen up, you were red, your tears were running down your face. I mean, you must have felt as if you were going to die then.
They gave me pethidine straight away, and that was the first bit of relief. That was, you just need massive painkillers just to slow everything down. And by the time I got to hospital, they hooked me up to the old heart machine there, and my heart was racing, really racing. And I figured later, if I had been someone with a weak heart, it could have been worse.
Did you feel as if you're going to die?
Well, I certainly felt as though I didn't want to live.
All swimmers in the far north are vulnerable, whether scuba diving on the offshore reefs or swimming in the protective stinger nets. These tiny creatures easily swim through the mesh and join the unsuspecting bathers. Most Irukandji stings occur here. There has even been a victim in a swimming pool on a cruise ship. Marine biologist Russell Hoare is searching for the elusive Irukandji. In the first 2 months of this year, the creature has already put 15 victims into intensive care.
Hi, Russell. Looking for the Irukandji?
Yes, out again. And that's up and running now.
You got stung pretty badly by an Irukandji, didn't you?
Yeah, about 4 years ago I got a fairly nasty sting just after Christmas, and that was my inspiration to get involved with some of the research to find out a little bit more about them. At the moment there's very little known about them at all, especially in terms of life history and things like that.
Well, I've never seen one. I mean, I've seen thousands of box jellyfish, but never an Irukandji, and they're so tiny.
Very few people have actually ever seen a live one. Very few people have seen a dead one. The world collection stands at less than 100.
This is your favourite place?
This is the place where history tells us that most stings have occurred. Unfortunately, that's about the only good information that we can use to try and be down there to target them.
Are you catching many here?
Not so much this year. No, we haven't got to, but the conditions are just starting to come right today, so we're especially hopeful for today.
This thing is no bigger than a thumbnail, and yet it packs such a wallop. I mean, imagine if it grew the size of coronets. It would just wipe you out immediately.
Absolutely. I mean, the actual molecular weight of the venom is yet to be properly calculated. It's being worked on at the moment by the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories of Australian Venom Research Unit these days down in Melbourne. And that's what we're mainly working towards, is trying to get enough specimens here so we can develop an anti-venom. Okay, I'll just drop this net down itself, pick it up right. Generally, if we get something, due to the aggravation of being in the net and whatever else, they'll usually be fairly active. They'll be pumping across the surface of the water. And we have got a jellyfish here, but it's not what we're after.
No, not the one.
Some of the very common jellyfish that we get up here.
The one there. I saw another one in there. This one here.
It's got blood spot.
I think I'm doing another drag.
Yes, it's
looks like it.
What is that thing?
I believe you had a lot of stings here, mates.
Yes, there were 7 suspected stings in this beach alone on Sunday afternoon, and 2 more reported stings at Mission Beach and Port Douglas yesterday as well.
All Irukandji?
Suspected as all being Irukandji at this stage, yes.
That's not stinging? Very good.
We know almost nothing about the life cycle of the Irukandji, except for its distressing symptoms, which have a characteristic time delay of some 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we've got a fair few things in there.
Yeah, I can see them.
Let's get them in the jars and have a closer look.
Okay.
Prawns, ctenophores,
There, what's that? What's at the top there? Just move across.
All right, yeah, 4 tentacles.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's it, that's it.
That's what they do.
After all this time, there it is. Look, it's so tiny, Russell, so tiny it's hard to imagine that that's probably the most deadliest creature on Earth. Oh, well, congratulations, finally got one.
No worries.
Peter, how many people a year would get stung by the Irukandji?
Well, it does vary an awful lot. Maybe, say, only 20 some years and up to 200 another. It varies from season to season.
200 in 1 year?
Yes. There's even been up to 50 on one day at one time, which caused a bit of havoc in the local hospital.
And most of those end up in intensive care?
No, not all of them. Some are just treated in the casualty unit. The symptoms are kind of severe, but not too bad. But others need to be admitted into the hospital, and some need treatment in intensive care, and there's been an increasing number this year.
We're just monitoring your pulse. Your heart's beating 96, so it is quite elevated, and we'll keep monitoring you for some time yet, please.
Oh, I've got goosebumps there.
Hey, it's 20 minutes since you come out of the water. It is definitely a sign of a possible one of our jellyfish stings. How are you feeling elsewhere in your body? You got any other problems?
I'm feeling a bit sick actually, and a bit of a sore back. And
I'm going to call the ambulance immediately. They'll be about 8 minutes before they get here. Okay, but please relax. Okay, stay calm. Okay.
Check electrodes.
41-year-old.
Peter, this little Irukandji, I mean, it's no bigger than my fingernail, and yet it packs this incredible punch. I mean, it's got to be one of the world's deadliest creatures.
Well, you'd have to say that. I mean, Chironex has always been acknowledged as the most deadly creature in the world.
Yeah.
But Chironex may be up to 30 centimetres in width. This is only, say, 2 centimetres in width, and it can prostrate an adult, a fit adult, for up to 8 days in intensive care. So, yes, it's very, very venomous for its size.
Yeah.
Port Bradshaw is in a remote part of Arnhem Land, and we've come here in search of the big and dangerous Chironex fleckeri. It's a scenic place that belies the danger lurking here. Michelle Mason is helping Jamie. Lycra suits are a must.
Yeah, it's definitely a fleckeri. If you have a look at the difference between the two, the fleckeri's got this big wicked spur on this canal here, and the quaddies that we're getting at Southern 4 Mile have got almost a right angle on there.
right.
So these things got these really wicked looking spur on it. There's another one.
Oh, this guy's big, isn't it?
Ooh, it's another big one.
Oh boy.
Good grief.
Nearly tread on it, Jamie.
No, thank you. Absolutely amazing. All the things like rubber gloves on the inside, they're all the gonads. Stunning animal. We'll put him back again. Look at the tentacles.
Jamie and I drag the deeper water where it's hard to visually see the animal. A lurking crocodile is more on our mind.
I'll keep an eye out for crocs.
Oh, there's a big jellyfish in there.
Oh yeah, here he is.
That's what we're after.
Aha!
Beautiful.
That's the sort of one that can kill you. Pity most of his tentacles have been lost in the net, isn't it?
Well,
but it just shows you that they're here.
Yeah, look at that, the fish are wrapped up in tentacles.
Yeah, that's a full adult.
We hand catch a healthy specimen for an experiment.
If you want to whip up there and grab some transmitter and the glue and some towel.
Okay.
Tracking the animal should give us a pattern of its daily movements.
Just need the glue to start with.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to dry them off, just down in there.
There you go. All right.
can hear him there. Seems like he's moving, not very fast though. Probably still a little bit shell-shocked.
Which way is he heading?
Yeah, it seems like he might be heading offshore. Travelling down the beach a little bit and see what happens. It seems like he might be heading off the coast. We better put the surf ski in the water, I think, and follow him with that. South, 12 degrees, 29.9, 82 minutes. East, 136 degrees, 46.5, 22 minutes. Time, 9:53.
Where do you think he's gone?
Yeah, he must have come in shore. We'll find out whether we can pick him up from somewhere.
Yeah?
Yeah, it looks like he's just over there somewhere.
I'll go have a look.
Yeah, he can't be far away.
Okay. He's coming to shore, all right?
All I can see is the radio transmitter and all the animal.
Oh, watch his tentacles. Ow. Ooh, yikes. Yikes.
No, you still got the tag.
Right.
I'll remove the transmitter and let him go, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice animal, eh?
So, what are you doing here, Jamie?
Well, what we're doing, I've got a student that's going to work with me, and what we're trying to do is to be able to identify the jellyfish from the tentacles that are left on somebody. So what we do is we take some tentacles back to the lab.
Yeah.
And the other thing we do is we actually take a gonad sample out of the animals.
Yeah.
We take that back and we can use that for DNA sequencing, so we can actually tell, hopefully, where the animal's from and who its parents were. At least that's the theory anyway.
Yeah.
So they've got 4 eyes, one on basically every facet of the cube. They're called cube jellies or cubomedusae, so they've got 4 sides to them, and there's an eye on each side. And they've got statocysts in there too, which are balance organs. It's like a little grain of sand which is attached to hairs. So as the animal turns upside down, some of the hairs pull differently, so it can tell whether it's right way up in the water column or upside down.
The Aboriginal community of Port Bradshaw live with the daily danger of the box jellyfish. Surprisingly, they told Ben none of them had been stung. Box jellyfish do not attack. All encounters are accidental when the animal has not been able to avoid the human.
What a monster. I mean, that's really unusual too, to find them on the beach.
Oh,
look at that. So they've been washed up and left up on the high tide.
Guys, that's the biggest box jellyfish.
It's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder why it got washed on the beach.
Mm.
Really unfortunate. Big animal, though. Huge gonads in it. Millions of them. Just full of gonads.
So that is a mature age?
That's definitely a mature animal. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the mouth there. And it's hollow, it's like a straw.
Yeah.
It runs right up through the middle there. So,
right.
So my finger runs through the middle. There's a series of reproductive or gastric pouches or stomachs on the top of the animal. So if you open the animal, it's got stomachs. Be one there, one there, one there, and one on the other side.
Right.
I mean, they're cubomedusae. Everything's based on 4. And four corners to them.
Yeah.
4 stomachs.
Yeah.
So amazing animals.
Yeah.
Sorry? There's a bigger animal.
Oh, wow. Geez, big. Watch your hands.
It's a bigger one.
Yeah, this is the biggest we've seen yet.
Yeah, it's the biggest one here, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Big animal.
Look how long the tentacles go.
Yeah, right off down into the distance.
Frightening. So really, these tentacles will probably stretch out to about 10 feet.
They probably would, yeah. I mean, an animal that size. Yeah, look there. You can see all the gonads internally there. Just look like the finger ends of rubber gloves.
He's really pulled his tentacles in, hasn't he, now? So here's that really big jellyfish we found today. Look at all the reproductive organs.
Yeah, full of them.
It's actually a mature animal.
Going to take some samples of that?
No, we just put the animal straight in formalin.
Okay. We'll take it back to the lab.
Yeah.
Are you getting stung, Jamie?
Yes, a lot. In a word.
Port Bradshaw looks like paradise. Underwater, it's not. Jamie still drags 4 Mile Beach when the seas are rough, though he knows they won't be there.
Well, it's pretty rough. Do you think you'll get anything today?
Don't think so, Ben. It's sort of 2 or 3 days in a row, rough weather, and the animals just disappear.
Uh-huh.
I suspect, I'm not too sure where the heck they go. I suspect they just go offshore somewhere, find somewhere calm and settle on the bottom. Don't know. Really a gamble. Nothing sort of what we expected though, Ben.
In Ben's 16 years of observations of the box jellyfish, he has witnessed their remarkable ability to sense an approaching storm.
Adam, come and have a look at this.
What is it?
All these box jellyfish, look, they're going upriver here.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I've seen this happen before. Remember that last cyclone? The
They all
box
just
jellies,
came up,
they
yeah.
came up a day before we even got the warning. You know, it looks perfect here now. You know, no storm, but yet I bet there's a strong wind warning out tomorrow. You know, I can't believe it with these guys. They've got no brain. You can see how transparent they are. There's, you know, nothing inside them, it appears. And yet they must be able to sense the vibrations in the water, maybe from a storm 1,000 kilometres away. Or they may even feel the drop in pressure. But I bet there will be a strong wind warning out tomorrow, and these guys know it before we do.
There is indeed a storm the next day. Cyclone Rona is sweeping in towards Port Douglas.
A tropical cyclone warning is current for coastal and island communities. Coastal residents between Port Douglas and Cardwell are specifically warned of the danger of storm surge as the cyclone approaches the coast. The sea is likely to rise steadily up to 2 metres above the normal tide, with damaging waves.
Gotta find some shelter.
The safest place in the cyclone is up in the mangroves. They never blow down. We spend a wild night with winds gusting over 80 knots, but the real fury of the cyclone barely touches us up the mangrove creek. The deluge will flush the baitfish out of the creek, and I expect a new wave of box jellyfish to appear. Trees are down in the town, and this was my plane hangar.
You know, this is the first calm day after the storm, and I can see quite a number of box jellyfish moving past the wharf here and heading out to sea. Now, it beats me how they know that the storm has passed. I mean, for the last few days they've been up in the mangrove where it's nice and sheltered, and yet somehow they know that the storm has passed, the seas are calm, and it's time to go back out to sea and around to the beaches. They're remarkably intelligent, far more advanced than what we give them credit for, because somehow they can sense the vibrations of the storm. They knew it was coming before I did, and they knew that the storm had passed and okay to come back out to sea.
In Ben's search for a better remedy, Roy Gibson shows him an Aboriginal bush medicine.
You're going to get
the
into
green
me soon?
tree ant.
Yep, I've got one.
This is going to be fun.
Yes, it's going to be fun. See them all gone round here?
Oh, yeah.
Gee, they're going to make us go crazy in a minute, I guess. Actually, we're just going to test this out on whatever you...
Yeah, well, the box jelly. Yeah, well, it's something. I mean, vinegar is acetic acid, and this is formic acid, so it could work.
As you see them, there's some all down the bottom here. Look at them.
I'll get the box jellies.
Okay.
He's not a bad size.
Is he?
Right, on that arm there.
On that arm right here.
Yeah, straight on. No, leave it.
Leave it on.
I've got to get stung. A bit more.
Let me know when.
Okay, well, I'll leave a couple of tentacles on the right. Pull it off now. Oh boy, that's a good one. Okay, your remedy?
Put some on there.
Oh, it's like a poultice. Yeah. Oh, hey, that's a bit of relief.
Is
It
it?
is too,
Is it?
yeah. It is a bit of a relief. Yeah, it's working a little bit, you know, as good as vinegar. You've got so many herbal medicines up in the rainforest there. We've got to be able to find something that works on the box jellyfish. Well, I've looked all along here at 4 Mile Beach and no box jellyfish. Now it's May 6th, so I guess the season's over. I guess I can do a drag just to make sure, but I assume that the box jellyfish have gone back into the mouth of the river to spawn. Hey boys, bring the bucket. Big flathead.
Well, big one.
All right, there you are, Jordan. Dinner tonight. Let's see if we can find any box jellies in this net. No? Can't see any here, Julie. And you know, the conditions are perfect out here. The seas are calm, lots of little bait fish. You saw those little prawns jumping. But obviously it's the end of the season, early May. Okay, boys, you can come for a swim.
Oh, what a relief to find the stingers have gone. We have 6 months of safe swimming before they return in a new cycle. The box jellyfish tarnishes our image in the north and restricts our lifestyle. We must fill in those unknown gaps in their behaviour. The more we learn about such a creature, the less frightening it becomes, even though it is the world's deadliest creature.
Lynn, look at this. Look at this guy. Wow. Huge. That is a big, big adult. You know, a foot across, 24 centimetres. I mean, that's a full adult size. And look, it's June 10, a month after the stinger season was over. And here's this big, big guy wandering along 4 Mile Beach here. Boy, I wouldn't like to run into this guy. We think the season's over. And here's this monster wandering along the beach. Well, I suppose we can let him go. I think he's on his last legs, though. I think he's about to die.